Hello everyone, here we are again, Robin the Sudoku guy with tutorial number 55. And as I mentioned in last month's tutorial, this is another one about the finned X-wing, but this time instead of using rows, I'm going to be using columns. If you know anything about the X-wing, there's two types of X-wings, one using rows, one using columns. If you're not familiar with using X-wings and how they work, my suggestion is that you go to lesson 22 on my site. But what I want to do now is to point out a part of a puzzle that had an X-wing, and that's what you do to begin with. I'm looking for an X-wing, and in this case the X-wing was made up of columns. Here's a column here, and it's the number 1 that we're using. Here there's a 1, there's only 1 there, there's only in this column, there's only 1 here and 1 there. And over here there's a 1 there and a 1 here, okay? However, if you look closely on this column, there's an extra 1 right in here. This one here is an extra 1, so that becomes what we call the fin. And I'll just put the fin here, fin. This is the 1. And it's in this area here, okay, the fin. That is the fin because it's not part of the X-wing, it's an extra 1 in one of these columns. And that's what you're looking for. Now when you're doing, when you have a fin, you're looking primarily at this block here that I've put red all the way around. That's what we're working with in terms of a fin. Now if you know the rule, and I will put up the rule separately in a second or so, you can look at it or you can write it down, stop the video. But this is the rule. Either the fin is true or correct, or the X-wing is true or correct. But it doesn't matter which way it goes, whatever it is, we're going to get rid of one number, which is very handy, particularly on this one. So the columns are here, there's a column, here's a column, but it's got this extra one sitting in this block, and that becomes the fin. Now, let's say this fin was in fact a 1. If it became a 1, this 1 would disappear and so would that one, because this is in line with the row. So you could say goodbye to this 1 here and you'd finish up with a real 9. Now, I'm going to rub that out again now because I'm going to show you what happens if this wasn't true. Let's say it wasn't a 1 here, 1 came somewhere else, and it came here, then you know that this is part of the X-wing. So if it came here, in any case, if it was a 1 there, that 1 would be removed again. So in both cases, whether it's an X-wing or whether it's a fin, this 1 is removed. Okay, and you finish up with a big 9. Now, it's important that the one that gets removed when it's a fin is always lined up with the row. See how this was lined up with this row? Don't worry, I'm going to do another example of a finned X-wing using columns using another number. Be right back. Don't go away. As promised, here we are back again with another example of a finned X-wing using columns, and but this time we found an X-wing on 6s. Let me show them to you. In columns, here is a column up and down in here. We have a 6 here and a 6 here, which is on the way for an X-wing. And over here, right opposite, we have a 6 here and a 6 here, and so that makes up an X-wing. But this is where the fin comes in. This column has an extra 6 right there. This becomes the fin. Now, the rule is, let me repeat it again, either the fin is true or correct, or the X-wing is true or correct. It doesn't matter which way it goes, this 6 will be removed, eliminated, leaving a big 1. For example, let me explain this again. We'll do the fin first. If this turns out to be a 6, after doing the whole puzzle, you come to it, we've got a 6 here. That means that can't be a 6 because it's in the same block. See, we're really looking for fins. We're looking just at this block. And this can't be a 6 if this turns out to be a 6. Now, if that's not the case, let's say it could be turned out to be 5 or some other number, then the X-wing comes into being. If the X-wing has a 6 here, then we know that 6 has to be removed again. So in both cases, this 6 has to go, and you're left with a big 1. So let's make that into a big 1. Get rid of the 6 in both cases, and it becomes a big 1. And if a 6 occurs here, we can remove this 6 too, because when you have a X-wing using columns, the rows can have 6s removed. So that's it in a nutshell. Have fun as you look for firstly an X-wing and then either a column in this case that has an extra number in it within a block. It has to be a corner part of the X-wing in the same block. That's important. So that's it for today. Bye for now.